So Dana White was on Aiden Ross's live stream earlier tonight. Dana White, the UFC president, was on the well-known live streamer Aiden Ross's stream where they were talking a bunch about the UFC. They were talking about the fight this weekend. They were talking about the White House card. They were talking about Topuria, talking about Makhachev, talking about a bunch of stuff. And they had Nina Drama in there. She came on as like a guest. Because it's Nina Drama. And I've got a bunch of clips here of things that are important to least important that we're going to look through today and kind of break them down, because some things were said that were actually quite interesting. Some things were just kind of something for me to rant about, and like I like to do. So we're going to look at them today. And yeah, so before we get into it, please like and subscribe. It really helps out. And yeah, so this first one was to do with Makhachev and Topuria. As you probably know, I'll watch the clip first, but just to give you a pretext, as you probably know, there was this kind of beef going on about Makhachev and Topuria about how they were going to fight. They were supposed to fight in the White House card, and then Topuria, or Makhachev's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, says that Topuria, the fight was all but signed, and then Topuria started asking for too much money, and then the UFC were like, no. So basically Topuria was pricing himself out of the Makhachev fight. However, Dana White says this isn't true, so we'll watch the clip here. This is what he said.
And Islam said that Ilya was the reason why.
And it's freezing, nice.
Because he asked for too much money.
Just play it again.
And Islam said that Ilya was the reason why.
Never mind, okay.
Because he asked for too much money. Is there anything that you could talk about?
That's not true.
Not true, okay.
That's not true.
Okay. Yeah, Dana White says that the claim made by Makhachev and Ali Abdelaziz that Ilia Topuria asked for too much money, he said it's not true. And I think we kind of all knew this wasn't going to be true, because the whole Makhachev camp, Khabib camp, Ali Abdelaziz is their manager, they just lie through their teeth. They lie like they breathe. I'd never thought that. I made a video like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or however long it was, addressing those like claims by Ali Abdelaziz, and I knew they weren't true because they just lie. Topuria said that they were supposed to fight. Makhachev and Topuria were supposed to fight the White House card. However, Makhachev broke his hand or something like that. There was like a last minute, because remember the whole thing, it was like Hunter Campbell was on the stage before Holloway, during the fight week of Holloway versus Oliveira. And you could see at the ceremonial weigh-ins, they kind of like, oh my god, something big's happened. Like, he pulled out his phone and realising, something big just messed up. And allegedly, or rather not allegedly, like presumably it was this fight falling through. And then like last minute they had to pull Gaethje to fight Topuria. And there was some other stuff came out today. Maybe I'll make a separate video about it, about Topuria's manager saying that it was supposed to be Makhachev, and then they have to change last minute to Gaethje. And even Topuria's own mum, Topuria's mother, came out and said that he was literally days away from like saying that, oh, the Makhachev fight's on, and then he couldn't because the fight fell through because Makhachev pulled out, presumably by a hand, like breaking his hand or something like that. So this whole thing about Topuria pricing himself out, this like a claim by Makhachev's camp, is just a way of covering up to make Makhachev not look bad. Because in the end, I think it was Makhachev who pulled out of the fight if it was going to happen. And this is just their damage control. So Dana White here saying that the pricing himself out by Topuria is not true. So that's that. And I obviously just thought that anyway, that was not true to begin with. Next thing he said that this was talking about the White House card. The only thing that the White House card that could stop it would be lightning. So this is what he says in the clip.
What if it rains? I got to play devil's advocate because people want to be asked that.
Yeah.
What if it rains? Are you guys prepared for?
We're fighting.
Oh, wow. Straight up.
If it fucking snows, we're fighting. We're fighting.
No matter what.
No, the only thing, nothing will stop this show going that night. It can fucking rain. It can what? Lightning.
That's
lightning
the only
is
thing.
the only thing.
Please.
And what we'd have to do.
So yeah, basically saying if it snows, if it rains, any weather condition, they will be going forward with the UFC White House other than lightning. Obviously, because lightning is like, that can like kill you. Lightning can literally kill a fight. If a fighter's out, some rain lands, It's going to be whatever. The cage might be, even if it rains, it's like they're going to have stuff above the cage to protect it. You know what I mean? They're going to have that all figured out. However, if it's lightning, that's a bit different. That's gonna kill. That's gonna kill a fighter. You know what I mean? We're gonna see 2 fighters dead from a lightning strike. You know, Zeus or whatever god's angry at Trump for starting a war in Iran or whatever, strikes down the whole crowd and 2 fighters and Dana White. So but joking aside, if lightning happened, that would be bad. So they obviously can't do that. And Dana White, or rather, I'll finish the clip because he actually says this.
Don't be lightning. Don't be.
Well, we'd have to wait it out.
Delay.
We'd have to wait the lightning out.
Right.
And then
He says if lightning even was to happen, they would still do it. However, they'd have to wait it out. And I could only imagine how awkward that would be in a production standpoint. Like, imagine the event's like mid-event. Imagine we're 2 fights in and lightning happens. What's gonna happen? Imagine that happened though. That's probably not. That's like a 1% chance of happening. But imagine that happened. That would be so funny. Not really, because it would pause the whole event. But it's like, what would you do from a production standpoint? Just thoughts, because that would be funny if it happened. But if it was raining, whatever, they'll have something above it. If it's snowing, it's not going to snow. It's in June, and it's in Washington. They don't have snow there in June, I presume. So yeah, so basically they just confirmed that with regards to the weather event, the fights are still going to go on. Because if you don't know, the UFC White House is outside. It's not inside, it's outside on the UFC, or rather on the White House South Lawn where the president stays. So it's going to be there outside. No matter the weather condition, it's going to be fine. Even if it's lightning, they just have to wait it out. So yeah, that's that. Next is, what is it? Basically, this was another thing about the UFC White House saying this weekend at Prohaska versus Oberg at the event, UFC 327, Dana White says that the broadcast is going to be shown, so what it will look like at the White House card. So he says this.
Weekend, this fight, this Saturday, will be the first look people will see what the South Lawn is going to look like.
No way. So there's going to be a sneak peek.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
On the fight on Paramount this weekend.
Oh my God, that's very, very.
So yeah, basically saying there's going to be a sneak peek of what the TV angle, I guess, is going to be. I presume the broadcast angle is going to look like, similar to maybe how when the Sphere happened. Obviously they didn't show a preview for that, but they're going to show what it would look like on TV. I don't know why they're doing that though. I don't know if that's maybe for testing reasons, because maybe this is because this is more unique than the Sphere, I guess, because they're doing it outside and it's going to be. They're probably going to want to test maybe what people's feedback will be. Who knows why they're doing this? Maybe it's for hype reasons. It will probably be for hype reasons, to be honest, because after they showed the card a month ago for the White House card, it was kind of lackluster. And that's what a lot of the reactions were, including myself. I thought the card was lackluster. It was not. It's a great card, obviously, but it wasn't what it was, pegged up. It was hyped up to be, as Dana White was saying, this is going to be the best card ever. No card's going to top this, and it's like Bo Nichols on the card, really. So yeah, maybe I'm going to assume this is to get everyone hyped up so they'll watch it. Everyone's going to watch it anyway, regardless. It's like a cool event, but maybe so people will think more of the event. They're going to show off an angle or whatever. So yeah, I'll just play the rest of the clip.
So we have a spot for it. And it will actually show the setup of the South Lawn.
What if it rains? I got to play devil's advocate because people want to do.
And this was just a different clip. So yeah, So just to show, he's saying to show an angle. I think it is to maybe hype people up, because the event is in 2 months, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. It's in just over 2 months, on June 14th. It's April already, which is kind of crazy to think about. So that's going to happen. We're going to see it this weekend, what it will look like, and I'm excited to see it, but it's whatever. So I'll need to see what it looks like before I actually make my opinion. So yeah. Next is Dana White says that for the Strickland Khamzat fight, they are beefing up security.
What's Paramount Face Off mean?
No, wait, how is Khamzat and Sean going to do the Paramount photo shoot face off? Because they don't like each other.
Yeah.
yeah, so if you don't know, the photo shoot face off is, remember that whole thing, that this new thing Paramount is doing, or I assume Paramount have kind of told the UFC to do, is the whole, in fight week they'll have the fighters like face off in person in like this studio for the promotion, like for like a promo reason, so they can record it and stuff like that. And obviously, when this fight got announced, the Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev, it was like, how are they going to do that aspect of it? And just obviously the security in general. And here Dana White is saying that they're going to beef up the security. So I'll play the rest of the clip, see what he has to say.
Listen, guys, I'm no fucking shit. we're beefing up security and everything going into New Jersey for that fight. That's going to be a crazy fucking weekend.
That's gonna be a crazy weekend.
Crazy weekend.
Yeah, so basically saying like, oh, not basically, he is saying that they're just beefing up the security because obviously Khamzat is like this unpredictable guy. You know, he'll just start screaming, like what he did with Ian Gary. Ian Gary, what was it? He like slapped him very light, or maybe like a heavy slap, but it wasn't. I don't think it was anything like malicious. And then Khamzat just proper like tried to like, he pushed him, and he was just starting this whole altercation. It was just something out of nothing, and that's what Dana White's obviously going to fear, and the whole UFC are going to fear might happen with Strickland, obviously, because Strickland is way more explosive, like personality wise, than Ian Gary. So, you know, God only knows what an interaction in person is going to be like with Khamzat and Strickland. So that's the last thing on the UFC's wish list for that, a fight backstage to break out. So obviously they're going to beef up the security, a lot of security in place, so nothing like this happens, or nothing like that hypothetically happens, and they get the fight, they get the event, because obviously they don't want the whole event to fall through because Khamzat punches Strickland and whatever breaks his orbital bone, I don't even know. So something like that. Yeah, so it's good to have security for that. So yeah, next is, this is about UFC 6. Dana White mentioned that UFC 6 is coming this year and they will reveal the cover soon. So this is what he said.
I've been talking to Hunter about it. He said he's picking covers out right now. Do you have any updates or anything you can tell the people about UFC 6?
Yeah, did we announce the covers yet? So I was working on a cover that we were going to do, and then we ended up going with the original plan that we were going to go with, and
just laggy clip. So yeah, basically saying that or rather, he says something important here.
we haven't announced yet who's on the cover.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
Hunter told me he's picking covers right now, or you guys are all picking covers.
Yeah,
Did you choose the final cover yet?
I do.
Oh, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you know when it'll be announced?
I didn't even know it wasn't announced yet, but yeah, I literally just got done doing it like 3 days ago.
Oh my God. So
Yeah, okay. So basically he's saying that for UFC 6, you know, you might be interested in UFC 6. I'm not really, I don't really care, because for me, the UFC games are the exact same every time. The last good UFC was like UFC 4, UFC 3 even. UFC 3 was decent. UFC 2 is the best one. UFC 5, I haven't even played. I really don't care all that much. UFC 6 is going to be the same thing. They never change anything, really. So, yeah, with that out of the way, they have the covers for the game. They know who's going to be the cover star. And Dana White says there's going to be 2 covers. And that obviously means there's going to have the standard edition and there's going to be the deluxe edition. And I assume that the standard edition is going to be Topuria, and if I'm gonna guess, because this is a fan made. See this one right here. This is a fan made cover. This isn't real. That someone just put this here. This guy's just put this here. So basically, that the standard is going to be, I'm going to predict the standard is going to be Topuria and the deluxe is going to be Pereira, if I had to assume. So yeah, but obviously the deluxe would being like the more expensive version, you get more DLC, I guess. So yeah, so if you care about UFC, that's what Dana White said about it, or UFC 6 rather. So next, and then this is like some just random stuff I just thought I'd throw in at the end of the video. So Dana White says he likes Arman, so I'll
And
play
for
this.
Arman next.
Yeah, I like what Arman's been doing. That he's kept himself active, getting himself out there. Hanging out with Nina doesn't hurt either. She fucking kills it. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, after each event plays out, this event will play out on Saturday. Everything sort of changes, and you start looking at what the possibilities are for fights coming up the rest of the year. We'll see what happens with Arman.
All right.
So basically saying that he needs to wait for the events to happen to see what happens with Arman, and it's like the only event he should really be waiting for is the Topuria Gaethje fight. So I don't even know why he's really talking about this weekend, because he should be getting a title shot next. He beat Hooker recently at, what was it, October. He beat Dan Hooker even though he should have already had a title shot. Or no, sorry, was it December? I think it was December he beat Dan Hooker, I think. So not talking about this weekend, talking about the Topuria fight, because afterwards he should get a title shot. But at least Dana White, now we know Dana White says he likes Arman Tsarukyan, and he said he needs to stop being a maniac because of the whole, when he fought, I think it was, what was the guy's name, the wrestling at RAF, the RAF wrestling event where he punched the wrestler, was it Georgios or something. Since then they've made up and whatever, but I guess he's being a bit of a maniac and talking about how he's hanging about with Nina Drama and all that stuff. They're doing clip farming, I guess, saying they're dating, or the whole thing where they were on the plane and then they had the dinner with a Rolls Royce and stuff. Maybe you've seen the clip, who knows, or maybe you haven't. So he's doing all that stuff. He's like a full-time streamer right now because Dana White isn't giving him a title shot. So yeah, that's kind of that whole thing. Next, this was another thing. It was Dana White said that he gave, Aiden Ross said that a few years ago rather, when Dana White met Aiden Ross, or when Aiden Ross met Dana White for the first time, he was down in the casino $500,000. I'll just play the clip.
1 million, 1.2. But Dana, I never got.
And Dana White basically paid him, or made him whole, by giving him $500,000 and then giving him $50,000 on top of that.
Thank you. Well, I do always publicly thank you, but the first time I met you, I'm down $500K, and I literally don't know him. I obviously know who he is, but I don't know him personally. I'm down $500,000, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm on stream, and he sits down. I'm trying to put him out. He's like, "No, I got you." He beats me out of he pays my $500K marker off, and he gives me $50K and says, "Enjoy the night, kid." Thank you.
So Dana White, first time meeting Aiden Ross in a casino. As I said, Aiden Ross was down $500,000. Dana White met him for the first time and just gave him, or paid off his marker, $500,000 marker tab, and gave him 50 grand on top of that. Keep the change, kid. Don't spend it all in one place. And it's like, this was obviously, I think this would have been about, 2023? And this was around the same time when Dana White gave the $250,000 watch to the Nelk boys, to what the guy's name, Kyle or whatever his name is, or Steve will do. I can't remember the guy's name. So, and it's like, this is another thing on top of the fighter pay, and it's like, what? It's like, so back then he gave Aiden Ross $500,000 when he for free because he was down, and it's like, Aiden Ross wasn't even a big UFC promotion guy in terms of he wasn't really talking about the UFC all that much. He's way more into the UFC now, and it's like, back then, why? Was he trying to buy out Aiden Ross in a way? I'll give you 500,000. It's like a mind game thing, you be good to me, I'll be good to you. Who knows, maybe he was trying to get into the streaming market back then. I don't know, because that was when the UFC were trying to get into whole Rumble and Power Slap and all that stuff. So that was when they were starting to venture out into there. I have no idea. I'm just kind of assuming or guessing. Or else Dana White just gave him 500,000 because he just felt like it. And it's like, what happened to the fighters? This is a big issue. and he was doing it back then, obviously. But yeah, so that was that. That was like a surprising, or not surprising, but that was just a funny thing. Like, just Dana White was like constantly just one-upping himself in terms of like not paying the fighters, but then just giving like money to these random streamers. So it's funny. And then last one was talking about Nina Drama, saying that this one was kind of funny. It was like, what did he just say?
You guys can do the little TTS.
I know I'm annoying.
No, you're not. Why do you give it attention?
I don't, because I am a little annoying.
You're not.
I'm a little annoying. I can't help it.
Danny, do you think she's annoying?
What's annoying about her? What has she done since she walked on here to annoy you?
I spoke.
Fucking people. Give me a break. Shut up.
All right, let's see.
Smoking and having fun here. If you think she's annoying now, imagine if we get her drunk.
No, that's why.
What? If you think she's annoying now, imagine if we get her drunk. Why would you be getting her drunk? That doesn't sound like the first time that's happened. How do you know what she's like drunk? Dana White. How do you know what Nina Drama's like drunk? I thought you guys, this is like a professional thing. Like, Nina Drama's like a promoter of the UFC. Why do you know what she's like when she's drunk? Weird one. But basically saying that, or she is annoying. She's saying that she's self-aware, that the fans know that she's annoying and they don't like her. Me included. She is like I don't like Nina Drama. She just kind of drags the UFC and the UFC promotion down to this like OnlyFans void level. This like, oh look, here, a woman, now buy our product. It's just the most like goy, you know what I'm trying to say. The most brain rot stuff ever. Let's just put a woman, have her cleavage out, and then that will get people to watch the UFC. It's like, this is when that stereotype of like UFC fans are just like idiots who just like, what that thing like human cockfighting or whatever, and it's like the most degenerate sport ever. It's like, when they do stuff like this with Nina Drama, it's like, that just kind of plays into that stereotype, and it does make it true. Because you get these brainless idiots being like, oh, we love Nina Drama because she's a woman, and it's like, who cares? So yeah, I find Nina Drama really annoying, and at least she kind of knows that she's getting annoying now. I hope she's not talking about her own personality, because that's true, obviously, but I mean her videos. And even in this, she's like in like a top and stuff like that. Even in this live stream, like she's in a top, and it's like, we all know why she's there. She's in a top and shorts, and it's like, we all know why she's doing that. It's just to promote herself. You know, look at me, I'm hot. Or watch the UFC or whatever. Because, yeah, so saying that she's annoying, and Dana White saying that, you know, if you think she's annoying now, wait till she's drunk. And it's like, what? It's like, bro, what? How do you know that? Like, why did you say that? So yeah, Dana White likes a drunk Nina Drama. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's all the clips. That's all the notable clips anyway. That's all the ones I thought I'd share with you. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out. If you have an opinion about this video or what I said or any of the clips in the video, please comment below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you later. Bye.